Hey everyone, and welcome back to our city. I've had a huge influx of subscribers recently, so I wanted to start this episode by welcoming everyone to the channel and thanking those who are already subscribed for their continued support. I originally wanted to do an episode about recovering from a disaster, but I was having issues during recording while the city was being hit by the disaster. So I had to switch gears, and now if you hadn't already guessed, I'll be doing an episode about upgrading our original highway off-ramp/roundabout. As you can see, the traffic isn't terrible, but it is having some issues. Before we decide what we want to do with our roundabout, we should probably try and figure out what the problem is first. If we go to Info Views and we go down to Traffic Routes, what we can do is we can actually click on a segment of the road, and that will show us where all the cars that are traveling along that road are going. By clicking just on the other side of the roundabout, we can see all the cars coming from the northern side going through the roundabout. We can see that most of them are private vehicles, and they're either going to the left, straight through, or to the right. It also gives us an idea of the volume of cars coming from the north, as these lines and arrows are overlapping each other quite a bit. I think that the problem we are having is that the volume of cars going north-south and east-west has increased to the point where it is too much for our roundabout. We are basically at capacity for the amount of cars that it can support, and the traffic going in either direction is starting to interfere with one another. And considering that this is the first roundabout that we had in our city at the very beginning, I think it has performed quite well up to this point. So what I did was I looked through the Interchange page on Wikipedia to try and find something that would work for our city. I wanted to find something that would support the amount of cars that we have, something that wasn't too big because we already have development around the area, and most importantly, something that would be easy for me to make, since I'm going to actually have to build it. What I decided on was a 2-level roundabout, and I'll walk you through how we are going to build it for our city. The 2 levels of our 2-level roundabout are going to be the highway running north and south. I'm going to make sure that this has a continuous road going through the area. And then the roundabout itself, we're actually going to level that up 1 level. To get started, we're just going to pause the game because this is a pretty major road going through our city, so I don't want to interrupt our citizens too much. From there, we're going to delete all of the roads that are connected to our roundabout. And as for the roundabout itself, if this were going to be a normal roundabout on ground level, usually what I would do is I would start with a cross. Let me just put one in here real quick so I can show everybody. I would start with a cross. It looks just like this, and I could use the road tool with the curved road, and I can click on one of the points of this cross and bring it to the road guideline of the next point, click again, and then just curve it around the perimeter of this cross. Now, because this is going to be an elevated roundabout, if we were to try and do that here with our current cross and we bring up the road here, we're going to step it up just 1 step. As soon as I try and connect up to this point at the bottom here, it's going to bring our road down to ground level automatically. So it's pretty much going to make it impossible to make an elevated roundabout. So what we need to do is we need to make ourselves a new set of road guidelines that are the same as the old road guidelines from this little cross here that we can use for making our elevated roundabout. So to do that, I'm going to use the old road guideline of this point right here. I'm going to follow it along just to the right side here, and I'm going to make a little road segment just off to the side. So the road guideline of this new road segment is the same as the road guideline of this point over here on our cross. I'm going to do the same thing for this point on the right side here. I'm going to follow it down and make another new little road segment at the bottom here. So we can see that the new road guidelines are the exact same as the old road guidelines from our cross that we have here. So I'm going to do that in each of the quadrants of our cross. I hope this makes sense. It'll hopefully be a little bit more clear as we go along. But we can see if we do that, we follow the old road guidelines and make just little segments of road along here. We're making new road guidelines that are in the same area as the old road guidelines. From here, what I can do is I can delete 2 of the segments of our old cross here, and then we're going to start our elevated roundabout. So I'm using the largest elevation step, and I'm going to step up 1 step. I'm going to make sure that we're using the curved road tool. And if we follow our new road guidelines right to here, we can see this intersects with an old road guideline from our old cross. And this would have been where the point of our old cross was before we deleted it. So we're going to start right here. We're going to make a click, and we're going to bring it over to our new road guideline, which is the same road guideline as where our previous point on the right hand side was. And we're going to click again, and we're going to bring it up to right here where our new road guidelines are intersecting with the remaining old road guideline. And this would have been where our second point on the cross used to be. So we're going to click there again. And at this point, I can delete the remaining segments of our old cross, go back down to the road tool and connect up to where we were before. I can bring it back up again to where the new road guideline is. Click again and bring it to the middle road guideline. So this would have been where the point at the top of our cross used to be. I'm going to click again, bring it over to the next road guideline over here, and down around the outside edge, and do the same on that last quadrant there. And now what we have is a almost perfectly circular raised roundabout. Now if we did that properly, what we can also do now is we can go back down to the road tool, go to our highways, and we can actually reconnect our highways back up underneath. And hopefully it looks like everything worked out well. And the support pillars for our new raised roundabout actually lie right in the middle between our two highway road segments here. So that worked out quite well. Before we go any further, what I want to do next is I'm going to actually go into the Landscaping and Disasters tab down at the bottom, and I'm going to go to the Level Terrain tool, and I'm actually going to just level up the terrain in the area here just to make it a little bit easier for myself. The game can be a little bit picky for some of the things that you do. You can see I'm accumulating, a little bit of a cost, under $500. So it was already relatively level to begin with, but just to make it so it's nice and perfectly smooth, I'm going to just try and level it out as much as I can. So the next thing that I want to do is I want to connect our raised roundabout to the highway itself. And I'm going to go into the Highway Roads tool here, and I'm going to go to the Highway Ramp, and I'm going to connect it up. If we go and we look on our roundabout, we can see we already have a couple of nodes around the outside edge here. And I'm going to use the one on the outside edge, and I'm going to connect it down to the highway down at the bottom here. Actually, sorry, I'm gonna do that with the 2-lane road. I have something to admit to everybody. I did this a little bit ahead of time, so I have a little cheat sheet off to the side here with some costs that it's going to take for me to connect up these roads. And it looks like I may have used a 2-lane road when I originally built it. So sorry about that. I'm gonna connect it with a 2-lane road. Same thing. I'm gonna connect to the node right here and bring it down to our highway. And I'm just gonna let it connect up with a cost of $1,140. So we can see that that is not too steep. It looks a little bit weird, but honestly, it doesn't look that bad. I think that'll work out quite well. So we're going to do that for each of the lanes on our highway. Just connect up to the road, have a cost of $1,140. And you can see here it's a little bit of a weird discrepancy that it has. It has a cost of $1,140 right here, but I can also move it, and it has a cost of $1,140 still. So the length of road actually does change, but the cost stays the same. But I think the $1,140 cost that's the shorter road matches up better with the cost of the $1,140 road on the right-hand side. So I think that matches up pretty well. Actually, maybe not. That looks a little bit shorter. Let's actually delete that and see what it looks like with the cost of $1,140 on the second one. Still not lined up perfectly, but I think that looks a little bit better than the previous attempt that we did. We're going to go to the other side here, connect up to this node, cost of $1,140 down to the bottom, cost of $1,140 down at the bottom here as well. That one lined up a little bit better, I think. It's not going to be perfect. I don't have any mods turned on, and this is a little bit kind of near the edge of what the game is going to let you do, so we can't be too picky with the roads that we're making here. And so from here, what I can do is I can actually upgrade these roads to the highway on and off ramps, which is actually time to do that now. So I'm going to upgrade these, and I'm going to make sure that the direction that they're going is the same direction that the highway is going, that it's connecting up to. So the road on the left here is going down, so we'll make sure our highway off-ramp, or pardon me, this will be an on-ramp, is going down as well. So this one will change to go up. This one's going down, and this one's going to go up. And we're actually going to have this as a true roundabout and going around in one direction all the way around the outside edge there. The next thing that we want to do is we want to make sure that we have connection for our 4-lane collector roads here to go to our roundabout. And to do that, I'm just going to take a quick measurement. I'm going to use the 2-lane road here just as a guide for a length of road to make sure that our 2-lane road on either side of our roundabout is the same distance away from where the roundabout is. So I'm going to just connect up to here, and I'm going to make sure it has a cost of $1,040. So that should be where our 4-lane road is going to meet up to. Check on this side, 1040, so that one works out well. We may actually end up having to remove some of these commercial businesses over here, but we'll get to that in a minute. And then I'm going to go over to our 4-lane collector road down over on the side here. And I'm going to switch to the dirt road tool. And what I'm going to do is I am going to run a dirt road tool. I'm going to run a dirt road just on the right hand side. It's going to be, if I can zoom in here a little bit, it's going to be 2 grid spaces over and 2 grid spaces down. And we're going to bring that up just a little bit to the outside edge there. And the reason I'm using a dirt road tool is in order to connect this up to the 4-lane collector road, I find it much easier to do that with the dirt road tool. If we were to use the 2-lane road right here, you can see that it's a little bit more picky with where it's going to let us connect up. And if we use the dirt road tool, it's much easier for us to just find a spot to connect to and do that. So we're going to do that with a cost of $180. And we're going to do that with the same on the other side. And then as for the connection to the roundabout itself, we're going to delete this measurement road that I put in there. We're going to switch back to the 2-lane road, and then we're going to connect it straight up to where it was before, just like that. I think that was the cost that I wanted to do that with. Actually, maybe that's a little bit too much. So we're going to extend our dirt road just another $40, I think, that way. I think that'll work out well. And then we'll go back to our 2-lane road, connect up to there. I think that will work out a little bit better. So I'm going to do that on the other side over here. So as I said before, it looks like we're actually going to have to delete some of these commercial businesses. I do have some historical buildings here, so we'll just delete those and get them out of the way. We'll move our child healthcare center down, as well as our road maintenance department. And we're going to move our crematorium. I'm not going to put it over here beside the emergency shelter. I feel like that's maybe a little bit ominous. So I'm going to move it over just beside the cemetery over there. Actually gonna also dezone these areas so that the businesses don't try and pop up after we unpause the game. We're going to switch back to the dirt road tool and just use that as a guide. 2 grid squares in, 2 grid squares down, and we're going to bring it up to the outside edge. And then I think I added an extra little segment there. Let me just double check how long that was. Cost of $80. So we're going to go back down to here. Cost of $80. There we go. And then it's going to be a cost of $180 to connect up to the 4-lane collector road. We can delete the measurement road that I put in there, and then connect up our 2-lane road to our dirt lane road at the bottom there. Now, as for the 4-lane collector road, originally I wanted to do a 3-level roundabout, and we still probably could, but what I did was I made a tunnel for our 4-lane collector road, and I actually went underneath here and connected it up to the other side. But what I found was that nobody was actually using that road. Everybody would go on the ramps up around the roundabout and back down over here. So there was actually no point in having the 3rd level of the 3-level roundabout. So that's why I've stuck with the 2-level roundabout for now. And I think in the end, you'll see that it works out quite well, actually. So from here, I'm actually going to delete the ends of these 4-lane collector roads here. We can see that finishes it up a little bit nicer. And if we look at the corners here, where the highway off-ramp goes, and it goes to the on-ramp of the 4-lane collector road here, this corner is not great for doing that. So what I'm going to do is I am also going to put in another lane that kind of goes around the outside edge for people who want to go from the 4-lane collector roads onto the highway. So to do that, I am going to use the dirt lane road again, and I'm actually going to use the freeform road. I'm going to try and freehand put it in here. And I'm going to connect it up to our dirt lane road that's right here. And we're going to just bring it off to the side. Try and make it look as nice as possible. I'm going to turn off toggle snapping. And that way we can put it on a little bit smoother than if we were trying to kind of fight with all the other things that it was trying to snap to there earlier. So we'll put this bit in here. And then we'll connect that up to the highway. It's not terrible. And I think I'm just gonna speed through and do that for each of the different quadrants of our interchange here. So a problem that I've run into is that it looks like the highway here is a little bit too short for me to connect up this road segment. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just move this police department out of the way, just over to here. And I'm going to try and move the tunnels a little bit closer to the road over here. See if I can get the tunnels to start a little bit closer to where the road was. Turn our Snap 2 guides back on. Oh, that won't work. So we'll use that as a guide to see if that's too far. So we'll go one grid space back from where that was. Go down. That'll work perfect, I think. Just make sure that those are going the right way. Right, and we'll just connect this last one up. Turn it off again. There we go. That fits perfectly. And now as for the roads going from our 4-lane collector roads, it's going to be highway off-ramps. And we want to do the same thing that we did with the highway off-ramps coming from the highway itself. So we're going to upgrade these so that the direction that they are going is the same direction as the highway that they are connected to. So this will come all the way through here, down like this. And we're going to actually upgrade this one as well. So you can see that all the little roads in each quadrant of our roundabout are going in the same direction off into our 4-lane collector roads over here. So this quadrant over here will be the opposite of what the quadrant was over there, and we'll have everything hooked up going in the other direction. All right, and that is going to be our highway interchange. It's not perfectly symmetrical, as we discovered at the very beginning. The highway on-ramps and off-ramps right here weren't perfect, but I think for the most part they turned out quite well. So what I'm going to do is I am going to unpause the game and let the AI kind of figure out the new roads that they can travel along. I'm going to do a little bit of decorating, and I'll meet you back here, and it'll be just a second for you, and I'll show everybody what the results are. This is what our roundabout looked like before, and this is what it looks like now. Our 2-level roundabout is performing significantly better than the roundabout that we had before. Traffic is flowing smoothly north-south and east and west, and there are virtually no issues with traffic within the interchange or the roundabout itself. If we go back to info views and we go down to traffic routes, clicking just before our new interchange / roundabout, I'm not exactly sure, it's kind of a, I guess it's kind of a hybrid of the two, we can see that the traffic is doing exactly what we want it to do. It's splitting off to the left, going to our 4-lane collector road, or it's going straight through on the highway with no interruption, or going up to the second level, around the roundabout, and off to the right-hand side. So like I said, it's performing significantly better than what it was before, and it also looks quite a bit better than what we had here. Now the only other change that I've made since the last segment was I actually moved this intersection a little bit further away from the off-ramp of our new 2-level roundabout. I had it a little bit too close and there was some issue with the traffic, so I guess I should have watched my own Principles of Road Hierarchy video and made sure I had enough distance between the off-ramp from the highway to the first intersection of our roads here. But I fixed that and everything seems to be going smoothly now. And with that, that will be the end of the video. I hope everybody enjoyed and thank you for watching. I may upload the interchange to the Steam Workshop sometime soon. If anybody would like to use it in their own city, I'm not exactly sure when I will do that. I'm hoping to do it this weekend, so you may have to come back and check the video out again for a link in the description, or maybe a pinned comment, or I might even actually do a time-lapse video of me building it in the workshop like I did with the last highway interchange that we did. So I'll see exactly, trying to figure out what I want to do. Thank you all again for watching. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. And don't hesitate to leave a comment, like, or a dislike.